Hey guys, so I actually didn't plan this part of the video until after I recorded the next two sections, because the next two sections you're going to see two teams play. One is a really good post plant and how you should play a post plant, and two is like a bad example, right? But I wanted to take the time to explain to you like what a good post plant is, right? It's not like running at spawn, like you always got your Randers in rank. They'll run it up spawn, they'll run up spawn, and they'll try and take some fights, and they end up inting, right? Trying to go for like 3 or 4 kills or something, right? That's not how you play a good post plant. A good post plant is when you set up a crossfire with your teammates, one person takes contact somewhere, the other person swings off them, and you guys have like a really good trap setup, right? You have a good plan going into your post plant. Now, what does that look like? So let's use Haven for example. Now let's say for example that you got 5 people, they're all playing on site. Maybe you got like a Cypher watching flank, and then obviously this isn't what a team comp would look like, but I think you get the idea. You got like 2 people on default, you got 1 person back site, 1 person like sort of over here. What does a good post plant look like? Well, in a post plant, you kind of have to treat your teammates like killjoy turrets. That's kind of how I learned. You need to treat your teammates as killjoy turrets. Now, what does that mean? So if you're Brimstone in the situation, you need to treat, well, you kind of are the killjoy turret actually, because the only spot that you can play from like back sight is you can only really spot this way, right? So if you're KO and Reyna, you kind of have to understand that you need to swing off of your killjoy turret and Brimstone, right? Because when the enemy team goes in for their exec, they're going to run out spawn, they're going to see Brimstone first, and they're like, oh crap, it's Brimstone, we need to turn and kill Brimstone. So while they're looking at Brimstone, that's when you, as these default players, would use that cue when Brimstone starts fighting to swing out and kill these guys, right? Because they're focused on Brimstone, so you guys should get easy kills, right? But if the enemy team is coming out garage, then it's up to Fade to realize like, yo, I'm now I need to treat these guys as killjoy turrets, right? So like if these guys start fighting the people up like that are coming out of garage, Fade now has to swing out and be like, okay, my turrets are going off, I need to swing and I need to kill these people because they're focused on default, right? So a good post plant has like a good plan and like a good understanding of who's taking that first initial contact and who's swinging off who, right? And it doesn't have to be just with your guns, right? If Brimstone takes that contact coming, if Brimstone takes that contact from the enemies coming out spawn, KO or Reyna could throw like a flash. So like when the flash goes off, everybody swings spawn. Or if these people come out garage, right? Fade can throw like an eye, or KO can throw like, I should put KO like on the side of default, right? Like he's hugging like this side right here, because it's kind of hard to show. Like he's hugging like right here, kind of. Then KO, like say Reyna takes contact, then KO can right click a flash going out this way, and then these people can swing, right? And these crossfires and post plants are built off of your fundamentals and understanding the game and understanding of crossfires, right? A bad post plant, like I mentioned, to be like you have this big setup and then your KO decides to right click a flash and just solo swing spawn on his own when nobody's really expecting him to, right? Or maybe Reyna just like runs up into spawn and throws a flash and tries to kill the people coming out of B or people in this area, right? You see that ranked all the time, and it's extremely frustrating to play against, right? So in order to have a good understanding of crossfires and post plans, you kind of need to play in these situations yourself and watch other people play in them. So hopefully I did a good job of explaining what a good crossfire is, and you're about to see some in these next bits of the gameplay. And yeah, hopefully you learned something from this little short intro that I did. So if you guys ever in ranked encounter somebody who doesn't know how to play a proper crossfire, or just throws your post plan away because they just can't stop swinging everybody and they just throw your round away, make sure you send them this video, because in this video we're going to talk about some crossfires, how you can play them, how you should play them, and how they could just win you rounds outright. So for this first round, we're going to watch a good post plant, and this is going to be between Mad and DSG and the NA Challengers League, right? Whatever. On attack is DSG, and what they have is a Killjoy Ultimate. Now, Killjoy Ultimate on Pro is really strong. By putting it over here, it gives you obviously the entirety of B side, like covers all of this, and it's really hard for the enemy team to spam you, right? And on A, it's really strong because it covers so much ground and even covers into art, giving you so much space to work with, right? And as you can see by the way that they're positioned, DSG is going A. Now, we got a Fade Suck, we got a KO Knife, we got an Astra Suck as well. They want this site and they are taking it no matter what. Right, so Killjoy gets her ult down, and like I mentioned, this thing covers so much space to the point where you have just so much room for activities. You have so much room to play crossfires, right? Looks like Will tries to go for like a kill late in the round, and he can't. Now, this part's really nice. That KO Molly, let's rewind that, see if I can pause it. He kind of threw it quick. That KO Molly is really strong because he understands that people are right on the edge right here, getting ready to retake quick. So this utility that you're about to see KO use is extremely strong, because what it does is that it buys DSG enough time to like set up and get into these crossfires, so that Mad can't necessarily just, you know, rush on the site or like get into spots where they can disrupt these crossfires, right? Or retake quickly, right? So the Molly goes out, big from Exalt, and then decides to throw a flash, Molly, really good for taking this whole art control. And you see Asher and Fade, they're getting ready to get into like a good crossfire. They're getting ready to fight this part of the map together. You see KO and Killjoy fighting this part of the map together. As soon as you see KO take contact into Flower, you start seeing Killjoy sort of like wrapping around this way, getting ready to like peek through this window, which is really nice. And then you have Steel watching the flank, and I'm assuming he has Molly lineups for the spike. Now, like I mentioned, we don't get to see it, but if you look at the mini map, we see, you know, Fade and Asher, they're double swinging. Now, Fade was just spotted on this right side, right? So Race comes out swinging to this side, and Gangsta was able to find the timing to swing over on this side. Again, it was just really nice. It was just overall really nice fighting, right? So, you know, these guys were double swinging. I think some piece of utility got used to the point where Raze wasn't able to trade, so he repositions. And then you see Killjoy and KO, they have like this crossfire, like this pinch that's going on, right? And you can see even Killjoy, she was ready to jump through the window and pinch with the KO. So again, this was just a really good crossfire. They had the utility down to set up and buy them time to get into these spots, and they're able to play off each other really well. And all in all, this was a solid crossfire and a solid post plant. Really good job. All right, so we just saw a really good post plant. Now it's time to look at a kind of troll post plant. Now, it's okay, because we need to learn from other people's mistakes. You need to learn from your own mistakes so you don't repeat them in your future games. Now, this game, we got M80 versus TSM, and if my video hasn't come out, it's going to come out soon about this M80 comp. It's such an entertaining comp to watch. I think it's really good. It counters the meta that's going on right now with all this fighting, and it's so nice. Regardless, what is it? M80's on the attack, TSM's in the defense, TSM's on a weak buy, and M80, what they decide to do is the KO knife, they breached on, they're just farming some ult orbs. Now, if you look at the minimap, this timing is big. Killjoy just started rotating over to A, which disables her turret. Fade hears the turret go down, right? So she's got like this big timing, right? They think that, you know, B main's probably clear. It's probably clear. It's not a big deal. But what is it? EU was able to like hug this wall, and he's like, "Yo, I got a timing on this turret. Let's come over to it, right?" So they smoke bot mid. They had a main control. They decided to leave. They're moving up over towards B. But TSM, they double swing out A main. They're like, "Yo, nobody's in A main anymore, right?" So they could be anywhere. Well, my turret's not going off in B main, so they're not in B main. Even though they are, they're not in mid because we don't see any of them. Like, where are they? Are they in spawn? So they keep walking out, and eventually they're like, okay, it's B. So the exec goes in, the dash, the knife, the C blast. That's a really nice C blast too. It stops them from running out. But site's clear, and now they're gonna get into their positions. Now Fade is playing over on stairs. You got a couple people B main, and you got this logs position. I think this logs spot is pretty strong on a post one. It's pretty awkward to clear, and it's not expected all the time. I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty good spot, a pretty good contact spot for people to play off you from, right? So if you have your teammates on site and you want to play like up close, get somebody into logs and use them as like a trigger as to when everybody needs to like get ready to fight. I think it's a pretty good spot. But regardless, M80 are in the post plant. They're getting ready to swing off their jet. We got a Fade suck out, and Koala Noob's like, "Yo, I got a Vandal," or he swings with the suck. He's running at them. I think this is a bit of an overextension, right? I understand that this person's stuck in its tether, but you need to realize that you're swinging all by yourself, spawn into like you don't know how many people, right? So as soon as this person goes down, that's when everything starts to collapse. So EU tries to swing out and get the trade because his jet's swinging, right? So, but he gets stunned by his own breach. The breach stunned his own Fade, so he wasn't able to shoot back. And again, if everybody just sits back, plays their crossfires, play how they're supposed to play, nobody's running at each other, you don't lose rounds, right? And I think that's obviously what happened here. And then John QT tries to save the round by popping his ultimate, but he doesn't. Whiffs a little bit. It is what it is. But like I said, just play your spots, play off each other, play off other people's contact, use your utility, you know, based off of whatever trigger that you have. In that case, it was the jet who was in logs. Jet got a little too excited, rain spawn, and it did end up costing M80 the round. But they do end up winning this game regardless, because this comp is crazy. It's really nice, and I love it a lot. So, with that being said, hope you guys learned something from this, or hope whoever you sent this to learned something from this and doesn't throw any more of your rounds. I know I learned something, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.